in that whole Lisa Owen thing.
Oh,
that
girl?
was the funniest.
That girl. I put her in her place real quick. Get out of here. Stupid little girl.
1,000%. They're like, I'm like, oh, this is good. Just so that you know.
Yeah.
I love
No,
stuff.
when she was
Wait,
calling me out.
I want to know what comments you were reading at 4 a.m.
What comments I was reading?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what is he reading? That's so
Yeah,
God
funny.
only knows.
No.
I do love seeing you in
Just.
It was so. Did you see all that?
in what?
Oh no, last Davis.
I love
me getting
seeing you.
spicy with some girl.
She was trying to get spicy back and just like, done.
I think that actually,
She wanted to put me in my place. That I said that wholesalers are not like good for the industry. Like,
Right.
kidding me? We have like 9 out of 10 wholesalers are straight scumbags. First of all, let's make that clear.
Right. And they want what, 30 cents on the
Some of them
dollar?
are good people.
But when you said, the scam of the lease to own thing and only whatever percentage of them go through.
Yeah.
And they were like, I work for those people.
Yo, pulpit.
And you came right on back. And went,
Yeah.
really show me your numbers where those actually go through. Go, Matt.
That's
So funny.
No stuff like that. These are mine. You're calling FISBOs and you don't know what IT provides or what people are coming out of the woodwork.
Right.
You know, yes, do. Those people are selling is such a good option.
Yes.
Why don't you call realtors?
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Because
Well, they think that realtors don't have
when they call FISBO, I have a client he owns 74 properties. He got this fuck up his ass that
Are you
already
working
go live in the MLS.
Are you my
Don't
Jamie?
post on
Yes.
Zillow
Okay.
FISBO. I'm your Jamie. My phone. So when he owns so many houses, he's very.
Seamus, I like that outfit. A little different look than. Jamie.
And when I get those
Oh,
calls,
yeah, absolutely.
and it's those people running that scam, the minute I go, oh, I'm a realtor, they're done. They don't want to pitch it.
Oh, really?
Because they know they're only here to take advantage of people. And if you have somebody who's an advisor, understands the legalities, understands the function of how this stuff works, it's a waste of
And they're
time.
going,
Cool.
They refuse to deal with realtors.
wow.
All right.
There's a bunch of
Let's. Is this working?
Yeah.
Working. Awesome. All right, let's get started. I know we'll have more coming in here. So, how's everyone doing?
Excellent.
Oh, Lord, we got to work on that. Even if we have 10 people, we got to work on that one. How's everyone doing? Oh, that's much better. All right, so let's start off with some gratitude. I know we're in the month of gratitude and pushing into Thanksgiving and the holiday week next week. So, what are some different items of gratitude that you have? Whether that's to a peer, whether that's from a transaction, whatever that looks like, let's bucket fill for a little bit.
Okay, I have one.
Yes, Andrea.
I have talked about this poor buyer under 200,000 for months. We got her under contract and we are closing tomorrow.
Wow.
Good job. Whew, how's that feel?
It was incredibly stressful. I had so many hiccups and I am so ready for Friday.
And you did it. So good job, good job. That's
That's the one
awesome.
that fell out too? The one that fell out of financing? So you had to do it twice?
No.
Oh, so you're just having fun.
This is like, free offers. We finally get one accepted. And, the appraisal comes in late. And then down payment assistance had a death in the family, so we needed an extra week.
Oh, wow. Life shows up. It does. Well, luckily they went with you, right? So the key behind that now is building that referral business right after that, because the service you provided wasn't customer service, it was customer experience, and there's a difference between the two. So great job, great job. What's another one? Dun, dun, dun. Yes, great.
I'm grateful for my desk.
You're grateful for your desk, okay. We'll go with that. Awesome.
Yeah. Puts me in a line with getting out at the right time, knowing when I have to get to bed, and until you can't get up early because you're on their job. But yeah, it's
Sure.
it's good to have that kind of structure. It's helped me structure.
Huh. So what you're saying is that desk could have helped you with a structure and possibly a schedule
Yes,
and a calendar?
that's it.
Oh man, we're having some fun. All right, I actually have one as well, and that is to our capper group. We met yesterday, so we had 17 of our cappers met for lunch yesterday, which was awesome, and we came up with some fantastic ideas, some different action items. One of them we're going to talk about today, and I know there's 2 in the room right now, so both Shannon and Matt, thank you guys both for being there and providing good insight. So that was awesome. All right, as we keep going here, let's dive into listings. So who has an upcoming listings? We're going to spend a little bit of time on coaching, on the coaching corner today. Upcoming listing.
Oh, I do.
Yes, Matt.
It's Black Bear Golf Course in Canterbury Parker. 6 bedrooms. They're refinishing, or they're doing the basement right now. It's at 630, 640. We haven't quite priced it out yet, but it's upcoming. Should hit the market in about 20 days.
20 days. Awesome. Are we doing preview showings or anything like that?
We are, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So if you're interested in getting in there, talk to Matt and the team. How about other upcoming listings? Price improvements. Yes, Jim.
One, the property on the Meadows, Cabin Flow, we went from 453 to 450,
Okay.
and we have seen an uptick in the activity. because of
Great.
that, so.
Amazing what just a little drop will do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But have it closed by the end of the year.
Awesome.
So we're ready to go.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, Matt.
I guess I've got a couple of upcoming listings.
Oh, you guess you do.
Yeah.
You want to let us know about those?
So one of them is going to be like 220, 2-bedroom condo in Aurora. It's been rented out for a while. The numbers bear out very nicely as a rental unit if you have an investor. And then one up in North Glen that we're doing like a fix and flip on. So it's going to be a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Price is going to be probably right around 400, maybe even a smidge below, which is pretty good for something that's done he's doing it very, very nice. And realistically, we're probably going to put that on the market in January, just for timing of the market reasons, but it'll probably be done in December.
Awesome. Okay. So that's coming right up.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Excellent. Excellent. So you're doing previews then? Or preview showings?
Yeah, if anybody wanted to see them, no problem.
Fantastic.
Can I ask you, what does this mean, timing of the market reasons?
I don't want to put it on between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'd rather have it come on the first week of January.
How come? I'm wondering why. There's no right or wrong, I'm just wondering.
The drop off of all the houses that happens from everything that expires at first, as well as the uptick in the number of buyers that sign up for mortgage loans. There's just a clear, if you look at the stats on it year over year, there's just a clear distinction that January fits very, very well for the number of listings on the market relative to buyers that are coming in.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Let's keep on going here. Upcoming, Jim, I know you just sat down.
Like I know.
Lindsay, hi, Lindsay.
I know.
Jim, any upcoming listings?
I know where you're getting.
Okay, guys, 1 sec. Jim has an upcoming listing here.
Probably about 3 weeks out, as soon as my buyer or seller buys his new home on the 5th.
Okay.
He's got a new bill coming on. As soon as he's done with that, he's gonna, once he's out of the house, he's ready to clean it up and sell. Out in Aurora, East Aurora, Buckley and Iowa. And he's done a lot of work for it. He's fixed it up. It's nice. It's a very nice house. So that's coming about 3 weeks.
What school district?
That's gonna go to Rangeview, I'm sure. So it's Aurora. Rangeview.
Cool. And price point?
I think we're gonna be right around 400.
Awesome. Okay. Excellent. Yes, Jen.
Our friend Heather Gardens with a 1-bed, 1-bath. So if you know anybody 55 or older, we got it for you. It's a 1-bed, 1-bath. All the utilities are paid except for electricity. And, come chat with me. It's gonna be right around 180.
Oh, wow.
Like a super pool,
Super
very nice pool.
big. Oh, they got a great pool. They have
A lot of people to chat with.
Yes, share and share alike, but no.
I am not gonna dive into that whole
Yeah.
all.
I happen to know someone who's over 55, so.
Awesome. Yeah.
I also still have, it's been withdrawn, but I've got my listing in Parker, 330, it's a ranch, older ranch. He took it off the market, he's gonna do a little bit of fixing up, but he'll sell it anytime, so if you got somebody looking in Parker, about 330, I've got a house for you.
That's a great price point. Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Price group, upcoming listings? Not yet, okay. All right, so one more time around, do we have any price improvements or upcoming listings? Let's just combo the two together. Price improvements, upcoming listings. Okay, fire needs. Robin.
We've been looking all over. If you have anything, 400 or under, he doesn't want to, he wants to be on the other side, on the west side, Englewood, Littleton, wants a garage. And I even started calling expired listings to try to find someone for him, because,
Good.
yeah, does anybody have anything coming up for there?
Maybe you have some that are, you don't want to list until January. You can bring it.
Oh, Matt, you opened the door, my friend. Nice one, nice one. All right. Okay, let's keep on going. So let's put our hands together for culture. So come on up, Mr. Seamus. Tell us what we got going on.
I forgot to pull fantasy football, so let me do that real quick.
No, you can just keep that close.
I beat you. I beat you.
Oh,
You
yeah,
won.
that
I
takes
beat
over
you.
the-
You beat me.
First place is still Mark's Majestic Team. Second place is Lone Star Legends. Third place is Football Unicorns. And fourth place is the Miller's Tale.
Yay.
What about Alaskan Assassins? What's going on there?
Team, right?
Alaska Assassins, you're in 11. There's still plenty of time for you to go to last place at the end of the season.
No,
You're telling me I can do a comeback, is what you're saying.
Seamus, if I'm 16th, then I get first draft pick next year, right?
No.
That's how it works.
I have no idea.
That's
That's not how it works.
That's how it works in the real world.
You have to talk to our manager of sports and betting. You know, he's not here today, so you can take that up with
I'm
Mark.
out.
What's coming up on Saturday, guys?
A pie.
Pies. Pies have been ordered. I am going to pick them up on Saturday morning. I'm going to pick them up as soon as it opens. If anyone wants to come early to help me pull out 120 plus pies from my car and bring them upstairs and organize them, that'd be fantastic. If you are able to help, come see me after team meeting and we'll kind of talk staging and all that stuff and what I'm looking for. So if you guys have anything else on Pie Day, one of the things, I was just talking to Shannon earlier, so my team, we put a little sticker that says thank you for coming by and asks for business. I've got a copy of it so you guys can see it. I give you the template to use, but it's a PDF copy. Even I can't edit it. You guys can kind of take a look at it and see what that is. If you want to do stuff people have done in the past, bringing whipped cream to give out as well. If you've got referrals coming in, stuff like that. So that's coming up this Saturday. Make sure you're here. We're starting to send out our reminders to everyone as well. That's the biggest thing I learned last year. Send a reminder later this week, today or tomorrow, to say, hey, just remember, Jim, come on by to pick up your pie and go from there. So any questions?
What else is going to be going on Pie Day? Let's talk about that for a second.
Santa's coming.
Santa's coming.
Santa's going to be here for pictures. We're going to have different arts and crafts. Yes, Santa's coming for Pie Day.
Gonna especially order that.
Exactly. Different arts and crafts, cookie decorating, stuff like that. So JU's got that information. I'm going to talk to her later today to make sure we've got everything on that as well. So.
How many of us are planning on coming? Let's just go there. Awesome. It's a fantastic opportunity to bring your families. I mean, really, this is an awesome opportunity. Showcase the office, showcase where you work. You all created this. Truly. I mean, everyone created this. This is an awesome opportunity. There's gonna be Santa, there's gonna be all kinds of fun stuff going on, right? I heard Leslie might be an elf, is that correct?
Possibly.
Okay,
Possibly.
so
I'm not sure yet. We're still coordinating. So
still figuring out the team. Got
as
it.
far as I know, yeah. But Jamie's got a lot of that information too. So yeah, if you guys have questions or anything, come see me. Again, pies have been ordered. So I'll go pick those up, and yeah, I'll see you all on Saturday.
Awesome. All right, let's give Steve some round of applause and Jamie. Really, I mean, I highly recommend this. Take advantage of this. This is awesome for families. It's not just for our clients' families, it's for your families. So, and the energy as we create that, the more this room fills up, the more that we have all these guests coming in, the more energy will be raised, and it will be awesome. We'll be around with taking pictures, posting them, all those things, so you can use that in your business. This isn't typical on a brokerage, by the way. Let's just go here for a second. You don't normally have that opportunity. So your surrounding competition isn't doing this. So that is another value add, why it's important to work with you versus the competition. And that's actually one of the things we're going to talk about today. And that came from our camper luncheon yesterday that I was talking about earlier, was let's dive into who that competition is here in a couple minutes. So let's go into 4 conversations. So what we're going to do now, next week, we will be closed for, correct?
Yeah, we close
So-
at 2 on Wednesday, 2 p.m. on Wednesday. The office is going to close, and then we're closed Thursday and Friday. Happy
Awesome.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yep, it's happy Thanksgiving. And because of that, we will be missing on the profit conversation. So really where we're at right now in week number 3 is closings. Obviously, closings includes both listings and buyers. Now, there's a reason why in the first 2 conversations, we get focused around listings. And I know that we've kind of beat this one in over the last year to 2 years, and it's a leverage piece. You have a listing, you have market share. You have a listing, the buyers come to you. You're protecting your time. You have instant exposure in the neighborhood. You have instant exposure on the MLS and RE Colorado. And you know what's wild about that? When you look at the stats, 38% of RE Colorado, which is the entire area here, there's about 22,000 licensees, 38% have not sold a home in 12 months. So when we're going into competing listing conversations, when we're going in and talk to expired listings that have happened, or for sale by owners, or database, all past clients, all the way across, do they know that 4 out of 10 agents actually haven't sold a home in 12 months based on the statistics? If they don't, that would be something I would share. Because what we are doing within our walls is completely different. We talked about this last week. We broke 9 records, all-time records in this office in October alone. While the rest of the market, 4 out of 10 agents haven't even sold a property in 12 months. That's a massive story. There's a big difference between talking the talk and walking the walk. You're walking the walk. The competition's talking. Do we know our story? That's part of what we're going to talk about today. And that's why this is so important, because these are all indicators. A listing appointment is a future indicator of a listing taken. A listing taken is a future indicator of a closing, and etc. The point to this is when we have a profit goal, we can work our way backwards, all the way to listing appointment, all the way to the daily activities. Greg, you were talking about that earlier with scheduling, right? So going the opposite way here, right? If we know that we need to have X amount of closings, if we're talking about volume, then we can literally take the profit or the listings taken either side of this and go back to the listing appointments. The wall of value in the middle here, what this really is it's all about what are our agent trend tools. So one of the neatest things and the amazing thing about Keller Williams, and it is one of our value propositions, we are open book. At any time, you can look through the monthly trends, see where we're at, and see the actual numbers. This is huge because your competition is not open book. In fact, let's just go here for a half second. There's competition that's out there right now that's saying that they'll do In fact, how many of us are receiving recruiting calls? Right? Arguably everyone. Probably, what would you say, 3 to 4 a week, something like that? Different companies, right, Renee? Are we seeing it pick up right now or drop?
Recruiting season,
Why is that, Jim?
because everybody quits working in November.
Huh?
And that's when you move, because you're not doing anything.
Because you're not doing anything. Ooh, that's interesting. So if everybody stops working and they're not doing anything, does that create opportunity for you on the other side? Massive. I just got done talking about his statistics. 4 out of 10 licensees in Denver haven't sold a home in 12 months. Do you think they're part of that group that stopped working? Yeah. Better believe it.
You stop from 0.
Yeah, right. Right.
Right?
Save money.
When we talk about,
Spend money.
right. Well, here's the thing, right? When we look at this, and I have no idea where, okay, let's just go here for a second. When we look at this, E to P, what does E to P mean? Who can give me a definition of E to P?
Purposeful.
Right, what's the difference though, Matt?
Purposeful is driving with intent through all of your actions.
Uh-huh.
Entrepreneurial is a bit more being pulled in directions by what's happening around you. All right.
Right, yeah, you're on the right lines,
Someone else is happening.
right? Renee, what would you say that the definition of E to P is?
Well, you're the best. That's why you know all this.
Well, let's go there.
I don't like that.
So entrepreneurial is we use our God-given innate talent to get us so far. And the purposeful is we now have tools and systems in place to get us through a ceiling that we hit when we're using just our own talent. The purposeful is pretty much, well, for me, it's MREA.
Okay, what is MRA?
Well, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book has the tools, the models in it. So like the economic model, the budget model, the organizational model, the lead generation model.
So here's a question. If we're punching through ceilings, is it just one ceiling that we punch through, or is it continual?
Well, it's the same darn ceiling over and over again.
If you think of it as staircases, here's what happens.
I know.
Typically, and tying into, it's a great point, and tying into what you just said, everybody stops working. Huh. So one of the first indicators of E to P when you hit that ceiling is either punching through or resignation. Punching through or resignation. So for those who made a decision and a choice not to keep working because they were told nothing happens in the fourth quarter, 1000% disagree with that. They've already resigned. They've already resigned. Now here's what they don't know. 2020 is an election year, right?
Yeah.
What do we know about election years?
Lulls around the election.
Or,
Yeah.
Right? Boom, 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 boom. Peaks and valleys, right? Financial markets become unrest. Interest rates dance. I was talking to Misty with Cross Country on Monday, and I was like, you know, I'm just really curious. Can you pull up the markets for me? Tell me where the high was. The high was in September, and it's dancing now. That dance is going into the end of the fourth quarter, which is then going to carry into the first quarter. Oh, by the way, most of the agents don't start working again until what? March? February, maybe? Right, Kristen, right? So if we know that that's going on, when they plug back in, it's not the same market. It's not even close. And if they weren't in the market 4 years ago and they don't understand how these markets all tie together, they're in trouble. Because we've noticed a shift here in Denver, haven't we? We noticed a difference in the market this last year. Right? Is the market the same as 2 years ago? No, dramatically different. What we know by that, NAR right now for incoming applications is down by 47%. Wow. The market's shifting. Now, one of the things that we did talk about here was that it's a shifting based on a skills-based market. So part of skills is the education piece, it's the activities, and of course within the activities is the implementation, right? You have to take the first step forward. So my question to everyone, my question even for those online, what if you were to tweak how you look at this? What you focus on expands. So if you were to tweak on how you look at the end of the fourth quarter, the beginning of the first quarter, and look at this from a market share standpoint, how can you take listing after listing after listing? We just talked about the reason why. At the end of the fourth and the beginning of the first, right? Do we have an event planned for right at the beginning of January? Most listings, I'm telling you, most listings, and this is a tip, by the way, please do not do this. Most agent listings are calendar listings that expire on 12/31. Am I right?
You're right. Including me.
So, so we're gonna do an addendum there on that one, an amendment, change that date. So here's the point. When you have calendar listings that expire on 12/31, what's everyone doing on 12/31? Party. New Year. What happens on January 1st?
Recovery.
Sleep in, sleep in. What happens with our sellers? Sleep in. Now, let me ask you a question. What do you think a seller, and let's just be real for a second, who's a little slow on January 1st on the morning, but wants to, they're home, checks on RE Colorado, see what's going on with their home, and they find out it's not even on the market. No one made that call. How do you think they're feeling? Yeah. How else? Yeah, they're probably not very happy, Greg, right? How else?
Discouraged.
Discouraged? Why?
Well, because they know they're out of the market.
Yeah.
They didn't sell.
Let me ask a different question. Where do you think those buyers are on January 1st? Think they're
On the
ordering?
internet.
Yeah.
They're still looking
They're
at house.
so
They're
organized.
doing the same thing, but guess what they're doing? They're nursing the night before, enjoying coffee, and they're on the computer looking at properties.
Yep.
Yet the seller's property isn't on there. Do you think that creates opportunity for us? We did expired listing. What was that, Deb? We did expired listing. Well, we do this every year, right? Which is one of the value propositions of our culture here. And was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, we had 25 appointments on January 2nd. It was something ridiculous like that.
It was 2 years in a row.
Yeah, we've never
Right?
had less than 30 appointments set
Huh.
in between 8 o'clock in the morning and usually by noon, where I'm scrambling and pulling old expireds out because people want to keep calling.
Oh,
You guys
interesting.
are on a roll.
They're on a roll.
Yeah.
But wait, everyone's sleeping.
No, not so much. Some
Huh.
people, it's like any other call day, right? You will get some people that are snarky and hang up. Okay, that's fine. Next. And appointments get set like crazy.
Kristen, you rocked that, if I remember right.
Well, I did a reverse.
Huh.
This
So you
last
had
year.
them call you.
And we set 13 appointments,
In how much time?
2 hours.
13 appointments in 2 hours. Do you think there's opportunity?
And nobody yelled at me.
Business she does.
And
Because
no
they
one
called
yelled.
me.
How many listings do you have from this?
Huh?
How many listings?
Some of them are the nurturers that are falling out still to this next year. But I closed 4 of them so far.
Awesome.
So, because some of them needed like work.
Awesome.
Yeah,
No,
but this
so that's
doesn't
not
work.
bad.
Yeah.
This doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work at all.
Yeah, you know, sitting
fact,
there
being
for
strategic
2 hours
doesn't work
doing
either.
nurtures And close 4 deals, like I'll do that every day.
I'm doing some quick math.
Yeah.
What? So let me. Here's another question for you. What's our average commission? Highlands Ranch. What's our average commission? 12,000, right? Let's just go even under that and call it 10. Deb, you just said over 30 appointments were set. Huh? What's 30 times 10? $300,000.
Talk about capping.
300,000. Let's be real for a second here. $300,000 in 3 hours. That's $100,000 an hour by being strategic. Do you think this
Between
works?
how many people?
there's not that many that actually show up.
It's gotten more every year, so
Yeah.
we average around 25 that show up.
Right.
And then we've had people that ended up staying later because all of a sudden people were calling them back because they chose to leave a voicemail or they texted or something, and people were starting to call them back. It
So
works.
we know that what logic makes you think and emotions create action. An emotional response is a seller waking up after the night before, opening up their computer and realizing they're out of the game.
I've done a fair amount of calling expires and cycles through the years. And part of it is too, even for the ones that aren't that oblivious to everything, that they sort of know, there's just, people are very predictable. There's a very specific pattern that people go through where, you know, I don't want to deal with it in December. I got all this stuff going on. And they wake up on the 1st and they're like, oh boy, now I got to figure this out. And I think like everybody, when you go through anything that's a failure, and believe it, they try to sell their house for 3 or 6 months with a realtor, that is a failure. It doesn't sell. And like anybody that goes through something like that that's a failure, when they come out of it, what they're thinking is, I need a new game plan. I need something new and different and refreshing. And part of that is they need a new salesperson to engage with them, right? So you hit at that time where it's like they're going through this, crap, I haven't even done anything about this. Now I got to figure it out. They know they need something new. You get them in the right moment on the phone. It's like a layup. It's super easy.
So let's review that E to P. Do you believe that our clients, both buyers and sellers, go through the same E to P? Right? Look at E to P and look at the market. Look how it correlates together. End of year is an E to P conversation. They're going to resign or they're going to punch through. Punching through could be hiring a new agent, coming up with a new plan, being more strategic around this, right? Reviewing their big why on why they were selling in the first place. Yeah. Are they testing the market or are they ready to play ball?
Usually second time around,
They're ready to play,
sell.
right?
They're over it.
So how many of us use a script that's similar to, hey, guess what? I have some exciting news for you. I actually specialize in selling homes a second time. May I explain? Off the cuff, right? Robin.
So don't you think it would be a good idea to be prospecting now and setting those appointments if they want to wait for the beginning of the year? So all you have to do is call them up on January 2nd and say, are we still confirmed for tomorrow at 5?
Robin, you are my favorite. Yes, 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 and yes.
She
Yes.
gets to get in line for lunch first today.
Right, exactly. She gets first dibs there. Does this all make sense? Is this being strategic, Kristen?
Well, and a lot of times when you're calling on that day, a lot of times they haven't even looked at, and they don't know that their listing is expired.
Yeah.
It's a huge wake up call. And for all the newer agents that are kind of scared to come in and do that call day, the new agents and the really shy agents are the ones who end up setting more appointments than anybody else because they finally bust out of their shell. So they do, and they just keep going, and then you build that momentum because it's exciting. And so
Couldn't be more
come
right.
and do it. It's a major energy inside the office on that day. Big time.
There have been rookies of the year that have came from that day because of how they made these calls and structured these appointments over the next 1, 3, 6 months. This is being strategic because your competition is not working, right? And they're not going
I had
to.
a question.
Yeah, Andrea.
Well, I just wasn't sure, you know, when you talk about prospecting, like how are you not sign crossing?
Yeah, you have to
Well,
make
I'm
sure
not
that
calling on
it's
those
expired.
things. I'm calling on expired for sale by owners and people who say, I'm gonna wait.
They're the people that talked to Matt, and Matt told them, wait till January.
Oh my God.
I can feel the love at this table. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes. So here's the key. Do you really want the jump on this? And Robin absolutely gave away the nugget on it. You don't wait. You do it now. Like literally, you do it now.
And sign it now.
So what's that?
Sign it now.
Sign
Don't
it
wait
now.
until you can sign it now and have it not
Toast
until
it.
January.
And I'll be telling people about it for the next month.
Yeah.
And gonna take from here until it goes on the market with your permission to start marketing your house, and maybe you could sell it before it even goes. And you might get 2 deals.
You know what the number one thing that a buyer says when they walk into a house?
What's that?
They say, the Christmas tree would go here. I can see where the Christmas tree is. So why wouldn't you put a house on the market or show buyers when the Christmas tree is already in the house? It's already staged. It's beautiful. That's what everybody thinks is condo, townhome, whatever. They think, how do I do it?
I just wanna, I just wanna defend Matt for a second. Because the truth is, if you have family coming in, you have kids that are out of school, you have holiday stuff that you're dealing with. Like, to be fair, that period of time, it would be really difficult to manage having your house on the market.
Especially if you're not as motivated.
Here's
If
my
you're not as
question.
if you need to be in Atlanta by the 15th and you have people that are, the husband's already there and the wife's there, then you're motivated. And if you're traipsing in the snow to look at houses, then there's a qualified buyer, they're serious. So I can, I could be.
And you just say
it's one day or
for that
2 hours.
For
or
that
whatever.
week when your family's there, we take it off the market. Yeah,
Or
exactly.
you just have
You're
your
showing.
Only showings between
So,
2 and
yeah,
4
we
when we're
here's-
at the Zoom.
Here's the point I'm making, because we can go back and forth, and
It's-
both have great points. Yeah, here's the reality of this. Emotions make you act. The holiday season is the #1 time of the entire year, maybe outside of Valentine's Day, that is emotionally driven. Here's the other piece. That is the #1 time of the year. This is one of the absolute very, very, very best times to get in front of your clients, for client parties, for holiday parties, for New Year's parties. You can make more contacts in a week this time of year than any time of year. And contacts, when we actually know who the person that we're talking to, nothing beats face to face. Nothing. At the end of the day, we are a relationship industry, period, end of story. The technology is there to enhance the relationship, not replace the relationship. That is a absolutely key point, and I would write that down, because you have competitors that are in the area that are all about the technology, but they're missing the relationship. We're not going to get away from that no matter what happens. Now, here's the other piece. The story that we tell is a story that our clients believe. So at the end of the day, regardless of which story that is, what story are you telling? And then, is there intentionality behind that?
If we're not telling them, what story are they believing then?
Ooh, good question. I would say they're believing the story that's being told for you by your competition.
Media.
By the media, by the competition, by everyone else who says, you know what, Richard, wait until May. That's when the market kicks up. Huh. So supply and demand going on. If we know that supply is inverse to demand, correct? Like the economics 101. Why would I wait until May to list my home when the market and the inventory is exploding? Or end of December or December. The point is this. Right now, you're playing the game on the financial markets. We don't know what's going to happen in 2020. We don't. We have indicators. We don't know. We don't know we know the market's changing. We talked about this before, and before we move on to the next piece of business, being in Colorado, and for me, it's easy being from Alaska. When you look at how a cornice is formed, what happens is that it's snowfall after snowfall after snowfall. There's temperature variations which compact the snow, right? Now, a cornice is an indicator. When a cornice goes out of control and really starts stretching over and all this weight is here, it's the indicator, the future forecaster of an avalanche. When we saw the markets last time shift, and what we're starting to see right now, you are feeling a cornice building. It's building, it's building, it's building. The big question mark is going to be, what's going to be that indicator that's going to make it drop? Because once it drops, you're going to watch this market that's here go here. That's not a discouraging conversation to have. It's actually a very motivating conversation to have, because those with the right skills and the systems and the models to back those up and the commitment and the consistency, your businesses will double, triple, quadruple when that cornice drops. The rest of your market, because they go back to the center of their network. They go back to the person that they trust and they love and is taking care of their families to be that indicator for this next year. So what story are we telling? So that's something to kind of internalize for a moment. As we, Amber, how do I do this guy again?
Wall HDMI.
Okay, so as we go into here, wall HDMI, wall HDMI. Awesome. Hey, I'm Tech. All right, so as we go into this, I want to explain something that, and I think this is really important. We talked about all these different recruiting calls that are happening. We've talked about the market changing. We talked about taking advantage of the market, being strategic on the time of the year for that. So we also talked about how our office, all of you, broke 9 records, all-time records in October when the rest of the market was dropping. We also had the 3rd highest profit share since 1996. That's kind of a big deal. 1996. What were we doing in 96, right? I wasn't thinking about profit share. I should have been. So truly, when we look at this, let's have some fun. So one of the things that our region, and those of you who may have seen last week, we had the entire region of Colorado here, and we hosted all of them for regional, for our monthly regional meeting. So one of the things that we did is we went into a territory analysis. Who's our main competitors? Who's direct, who's indirect? Who is here in Highlands Ranch? That, right? So Remax Pros is our #1, and you're right, Renee. And what we're gonna do over the next 2 team meetings, we don't have a team meeting next week, but we will the week after. We're gonna start with the more direct competitors that we have going on in your market right now today. And we're gonna roll into the secondary, which is just as important, which is the indirect competitors. So competitors like, for example, HomeSmart, Live Sotheby's, Zillow, beware, they're a competitor of yours. Atlas is tied to Zillow. How many of us have seen homes owned by Zillow with an Atlas sign on it? Right? So they came in, bought the home from, Zillow did, as the buyer, bought the home from the homeowner for a reduced price, right? Nailed them on that, turned around, relisted. They're in your market. Open Door, in your market. Amazon, pushing on the door right now. So the key around this is that when we talk to buyers and sellers, if we were to talk to one of our past clients, how many agents do you think they know? And we should know this, right? What's that?
Every person knows 8 to 12 realtors.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 8 to 12, yet 10, when we look at 10, let's just pick 10, right, as the middle. 4 out of 10 haven't sold a home in 12 months. I'd be telling that story. So we'll talk about those indirect competitors that are not necessarily in this territory, but they're still coming in, right? They're still invading our home. Let's just go there for a second. We'll talk about them in 2 weeks. So this week, what we're going to talk about, and this really is going to be one of the main points of today, is going to be comparing who we are, who we're competing against. The intentionality behind this is if I was to put myself, which I am still an agent, put myself in my agent's shoes for a moment. What I'm looking at is how can I use this to gain more listings? How can I use this to gain more buyer contracts? So let's start with us. And I don't know if I'm writing upside down or downside.
You face the room, you're writing right side up.
It's good to know the tricks. All right, so when I look at this guy, we are at currently 216 agents. In the month of, oh, by the way, 216 is a 66.7% increase in the month of October compared to last year. It's also a 14.9% increase year over year compared to 2018 as a whole. Right, so month over month, year over year. So are we growing or are we dying? We're growing. Here's the other key piece. We're strategically growing. So when we look at, now let's just keep going down the list here. So we look at volume. And I'm just gonna make this number for the high C's in the room. I will write the whole number out. 173,966. So our volume year to date is $255,173,966
In Highlands Ranch alone.
in Highlands Ranch alone.
Not in Highlands Ranch in this office, not listings everywhere,
This is Highlands Ranch alone volume,
right?
specific.
Oh, okay.
Last year, as a total of last year, we were at 262 million. So 2019, 266, 62. I don't know why I'm stuck on 66. 262, 966, 949.
In 2018.
What are we? We're 2000. I'm already a year ahead. 2018. So not just agent count, volume, are we growing or dying? Growing, right? We're at the end of this month and we will surpass this number here. So when we start looking at that as well, 413 listings we're taking year to date. That's a 20.1% increase year over year. When we look at how many listings we took in October, we took 40 listings in October. That alone was a 14.3% increase month over month. Why do you think this would be important to know?
Well, when other offices are not doing as well, we're growing.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gaining market share.
So 413 is year to date,
413 is year to date.
and what is the competition?
So that's an interesting question because we're open book. The competition is not,
We can.
right? So if we look at volume on this, so let's just go volume for a second here. Remax Pros, so we'll make a little balloon. Remax Pros, which is our #1 competition right now, which we're about to pass. Is that a good one? Good balloon? So 254
Like, I was
agents,
wondering what
right? Here's our opportunity. Volume-wise, they're at 284,634,788.
And those are the amount of loan application volume.
This is, yes, this is closed volume.
Oh, closed volume.
This is closed volume.
Okay, okay.
So look at that comparison. Here's the difference. What most real estate offices, the average of real estate offices, not just in Denver, but nationwide, is a 30% attrition rate. So if they bring on 100 agents in a year, 30 leave. Ours right now is hovering right about 12%, with opportunity for growth on that as well. I'd love to see that even lower. So part of that is our story that agents join our office, they don't leave. In fact, they're 3 times more likely to leave at our local competition. Let that sink in for a second. Agents are 3 times more likely to leave at the local competition than here. Why? Why, Matt?
No, I have no idea. I was just
So
gonna
let's
say-
stay on that for a second.
Okay.
I want to stay on that question because this is the story, right?
It could be the culture of the office.
Okay, could be the culture, absolutely. Anna,
The mentorship.
the mentorship, sure. Coaching as well, right? Yes.
Yeah, for me personally, it's like a family here. You know,
Family.
I can come to anyone with a problem and they're willing to listen. I don't think I'd get that in another office.
Yeah. So do you think that's a big piece of agent retention? And do you think that could be a big reason why you're outpacing the market? Because you got to go internal before you go external, right? Right? If you're not whole inside, how are you possibly going to be like that outside? We know that real estate is 90% mindset, 10% activity, depending on what those activities are. Income producing activities. We also know that in a shifting market, 95% is mindset, 5% is activity. We're in a shifting market right now. How important do you think culture is and your mindset? It's massive. So that's part of what you can use for your story. The other piece here is if we look at, here's a fun one. Let's look at Coldwell Banker.
Hey, just real quick on the RE/MAX professionals,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just lost. So if we're talking about comparing to the competition, if you're Scott Bouvier, you're in a listing presentation going against Bev Testa, how does this help?
Who wants to answer that question? Because we just went over it.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
will.
confused.
So I work for an office where it's not just about the numbers, it's about the culture. And I will guarantee you that more Keller Williams agents will come and not only know about your property, will more than likely be on the buyer side for your property, and I'll get it sold faster because we all work together. And it's not just about how many people are looking at property, but that we want to get it sold.
I like that. And that's a good story to wrap around. I think Bev Testa probably works on an island. She's probably not so much ingrained, and she's not sitting in a meeting like this every Wednesday. She's not ingrained in a culture that helps sell together.
Right.
Do you know that, here's a
But I'll
tie-in,
call
Matt.
Bev and say I have a new listing.
How does it live?
Because
Here-
she's the top producer.
So here's a tie-in, guys.
Over.
If we're looking at that, you just gave that piece away as
So how
well,
do you go against the company?
right? If you know that culture is so important, and you know that culture also backed by models and systems sprinkled with technology, we're in a relationship business. So are we using Matt to know, hey, you know, when you list your home, you're not just listing with Matt Collins, you're listing with KW Executives. Oh my gosh, did you actually realize it's not just KW Executives, it's Keller Williams, the largest international company in the world of 180,000 agents in over 39 countries. There's a local competitor that ties into our market, or our luxury market here, that touts themselves as international. They don't even hold a flame when you look at how many luxury properties Keller Williams sells.
That's right.
Yet we're not telling that story.
That lore is in Outlook right now, by
Yes.
the way. That's huge.
So check this out. This is kind of fun. And so when we look at Coldwell Banker, and yes, I'm going to say the names today because whatever. This is us, and I'm fired up today. So we look at Coldwell Banker. There's 199 agents that is in the office right there. Yet, look at the volume comparison, closed volume comparison. So yes, we have a little tiny jump of 17 agents over here. Yet the volume comparison is 200 and where are we? Year to date, 255,173,966 compared to 114,052,830. Which one's winning? We are. Literally, we are crushing them. Are we telling that story? Because if I'm listing my home, I want to be with the winners. Seriously.
And the people who have the buyers.
Gosh, that kind of ties hand in hand, doesn't it? Because if you're winning and your closed volume's up, that's more buyers we're working with, right? Matt?
How many agents are we at?
216.
We're at 216.
So, I mean, just making the story that our agents sell over $1 million each, if you averaged it out and they're below that, I think that's kind of telling, especially in the area that we're at.
Yeah.
Have you pulled the matrix
That's
on
huge.
the broker matrix on CB lately?
No, I know.
199.
But I can tell you this. You want to know something fun? Let the cat out of the bag, Jim. Realogy, which is under the umbrella of CB. Have you watched their stocks?
Worth $17 right
Done. Have you watched another technology company's stocks called EXP? I'm going to say it. There's no valuation. We are not in the financial market for a reason, because we control our own destinies. They don't. And oh, by the way, did you know that Realogy and Coldwell Banker is losing Cartus Relocation,
now.
which is one of the major, it's one of the major platforms. How many of us know agents at Coldwell Banker? Yeah. Do they know that?
Giving 35% away to Cardis.
35 is low. They're on average 43%.
Well,
They- they've
increase
been as
above
high
their
as
cap.
60%.
Yeah.
Well,
Are we
yeah.
telling that story, you guys? Like, look at this at a different perspective for a second. Not just gaining the listings, by reaching out to those who we know, who are our friends, who we like, right? Who are awesome. I want awesome. We want awesome, right? That's why our agent retention is so high, because we attract awesome. Seriously. Are we telling them that story? Because their business is about to take, if they're heavy on reloads, literally it's about to get chopped in half. Right? Great.
Yeah, how can you convey that story in kind of layman's terms to somebody as like a pitch, you know, like in a pitch?
Don't pitch it.
How can you
Be real.
to the-
Seller,
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Or the other
statistically.
agent, what are you?
Who can help out? Great.
So yeah, I'm talking about like to a seller, you know, or to a seller, have those stats and be able to like have a clean, you know, fast, like, hey, here's, you know, what's going on in this office.
Right.
Boom. I'm just trying to think in my head how those would tie in together.
So who can help out Greg with that?
A layman can understand it. Statistics are on point.
Great. Within the next 30 seconds, who can help out Greg? We just talked about this. Matt.
We're collectively in the Keller Williams office. We have a ton of buyers. We're a huge operation here in Highlands Ranch. I know you're talking to this fellow that works at Coldwell Banker. He does well individually, but you're talking about he's got the MLS and that's about it. Of course, I've got the MLS, but I've also got this huge group that just has a ton of buyers.
Yeah.
I bring that.
How about this? Well, let's make it layman's term. We smash the competition.
Sure.
We smash the competition. Your numbers are showing it. We are arguably, and I promise this, we are arguably the only office in the Highlands Ranch area that broke 9 all-time records in October. No one's doing this. You're doing it, Kristen.
And I would say too that, you know, our culture is having that mindset of abundance, which is why everybody works together. And it's not this secret, you know, we don't keep our listings secret, we share them. And other cultures and other offices and other companies is scarcity mindset. And so they have to protect. They don't want to share it. They don't want to do anything. So it's definitely not getting out there and promoted in front of other agents the way that we do.
Here's the thing, and that's absolutely correct. We are a family within these walls, and we protect our families. These are all strategies to help you protect your family because it protects your business. It correlates together. And let's go over here and let's look at another one.
Can I just add real quick? Every month, Jackie or Amber or somebody puts on our Facebook page the numbers, which we call the lore, the language of real estate. And if the seller is interested, in the only way that you know that is by asking the questions. So I would say to you, make sure that they're interested in it before you start doing a pitch, you know, because then you're just talking.
Yeah.
No
It
reason.
needs to be
So
right.
if you know they're interviewing more, then you are able to show these numbers and practice it with somebody. Come to me and I'll practice it with you before you go on that listing presentation, to be able to hone in on what's important with those numbers, because you can't just throw out a 20% market share number and not know what numbers are backing that market share.
Right. That's
Absolutely. That's a
And if
great,
they-
great tip.
If it matters, but we get those numbers. So many other Keller Williams offices, I was just in 2 Keller Williams offices, like, what's your lore? I started with that. I went, what's your lore? And they looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I was like, and then they went, let me write down what the 4 matrix are that I should know. So I just am so thankful that we get that and we are able to portray that. But we kind of need to practice it. If Greg's asking the question, we need to.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's really, the lore is designed to be able to showcase your businesses. Yeah. And what's even cooler about that is you can literally see how many trainings on average happen with our agents, and that directly correlates to closed volume.
Absolutely.
So go pull it up. It's on Facebook right now, right?
Yep.
So here's another one. Let's go here again because I'm just feeling feisty. And then we'll end with this. Realty One Group. Oh, did I say that? I did. Realty One. 131 agents, 60 million. What was ours?
255.
Huh. So you're telling me we do 4 times the amount of volume in here. We change 4 times the amount of families' lives within our office than the local competition. 131 agents, 16,466,968.
Your discount.
Do you see where I'm going here with all of this? Like, and I know I'm getting fired up because it drives me nuts. Because you should be able to go and truly go into a listing appointment. I don't care if they're interviewing 10 agents from 10 different companies. You're killing the competition right now. And as Jim said, they're sleeping. They're not working now. So when we look at the fourth quarter, when we look at the end of the year, the beginning of the year, it has massive opportunity. I don't care if you're brand new or you have 28 years in the business. There is massive opportunity. When the last shift happened, there were agents, both individuals and teams, that quadrupled their business. We're talking $50 million businesses doubling, tripling, quadrupling because of the models and systems and how they approached it. And they watched the competition fall off. So right now that's happening within your market. These are just 3, right? And that's all I'm going to touch on today. And who would like to get these numbers? Right? I would think every hand. Right? So what we're going to do and what I'm going to do is I will put this together and I'll send it over to Amber and we will send it out. So if you put your name on the sign up list, if you're online watching, don't forget to we have chat going on right now, right?
I already have them down.
Awesome. So we will send this out to you so you can use this. This right now is your opportunity, right now. In 2 weeks, we're going to talk about Zillow. We're going to talk about Open Door. We're going to talk about HomeSmart. We're going to talk about Live Sotheby's. And I'm going to do the same thing, Jim. And I'm going to show you exactly what's going on so you can take listing after listing after listing after listing, buyer after buyer after buyer with confidence. You can absolutely double, quadruple your goals, your income next year based on how you're able to share this story. And it's happening all over the country for those top agents. We are professionals. We are experts. You are experts. This is how you take market share and you make it run. Questions, comments, concerns?
You know what I'd also like to have, because you have access to it, is how many brokers out of the 216 have never done a deal in a year, and how many of those have never? And then it goes to Matt's, Bev Testa #1 in Remax Pros, and I can combat her because I can say to the seller, you know what, she has 20 listings right now. Where do you think you fall? And we don't have this team, whatever, and we're focusing on you. So I can spin that, but I think it's a good number for us to know.
Absolutely.
Do you don't mind?
Well, no, not at all. And in fact, we just talked about earlier in the meeting, we're on average getting 3 to 4 recruiting calls a week, right? Do you think that they know those numbers? I would say, they're not going to share theirs. They're not going to share theirs. I am feeling feisty. And so we're just going to go for it. I have heard there's a local competitor that's at EXP that borders our territory that says they've closed 400 plus homes. I'm going there, Amber. 400 plus homes and the #1 team in Colorado. Do you know that I pulled their numbers? The entire brokerage has done 121.5 closings.
Did they just have a party last week?
Something like that.
Okay.
At a restaurant?
At a restaurant, but I heard that I heard there wasn't much of a walk there, Andrea. So here's my point, guys. And yeah,
They advertise on the radio.
I'm gonna go after this full speed because I'm protecting you and your families, and I really mean that. There's a massive difference between 400 closed sales and 121. We have teams in our office that are outproducing the entire brokerage.
Well, and it's kind of funny looking at that Realty One with the whole discount broker thing. And you look at how, and embarrassing for them that number is. So that's so important to put in front of your seller, saying, look how great that discount broker is, that the sellers are getting smarter not to use them. So those discount brokers, yeah, they're lower. Their business is discounted and their lives are discounted. Because look at that number. That's nothing.
Yeah. So one of the coolest things, I mean, there are teams that have surpassed this year that are within Keller Williams. There are teams that have done half that business this year that are in our office. Let that sink in. That's 131 agents, right? Is there opportunity to bring them into a different environment to let their families take advantage of it? You have profit share. All these pieces rise up. Our intention, our goal, for our commitment for 2020, and I'm going to say it out loud, we will be #1 in this entire market by the end of next year. Smashing them.
Are we sure we're not going to be #1 this year?
You know, Matt, that's a great question because I think we're going to pass it.
I don't think
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah. So with that, now here's the other piece around this that I want you to kind of dive into a little bit, because I would love to have everyone who's in this room, everyone is in this room at Wealth Building today from 12:30 to 2. One of the greatest benefits, one of the greatest compliments that Keller Williams as a whole and KW executives have is we are business owners, not just real estate licensees. So both Mark Bauer and Bud Doyle, who are here, thank you gentlemen, are going to be here spotlighting their businesses around what different profit margins, what opportunities, why it's important to follow a P&L, and how to be a business owner from 12:30 to 2 today. So don't go anywhere. Once you grab lunch, come back in this room, and we're going to have some fun. With that, I'm going to pass the torch to our sponsor who did do lunch for us, Amy Bomer? Shay Holmes, give her a big round of applause.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad I got here a few minutes early so I could kind of listen, because I didn't realize how similar we are. Shay is a family company. We started in 1881 as just a small plumbing company and have evolved to what we are. We don't do big, huge marketing pushes. We do this. We're out in the community. We're building relationships with people. I thought I was just going to come talk to you about what I had to sell you, but you guys are so cool that I'm going to be pass this one this direction, if you would. So wow. So I sell for Crescendo, literally a stone's throw from here. So if you guys haven't seen us yet, come over like today after your wellness class. But I wanted to come out and just say hi to everybody, let you guys kind of know what's going on with us. I see a few familiar faces in here, but a lot of people I've never met before. I've been selling Highlands Ranch now for about 6 years with Shay Holmes, and I absolutely adore it. We just closed out Backcountry, which was our luxury thing for many, 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 many years. Yes, I have 3 closings left by December. And so now I'm over here at Crescendo. We also just started a new community for the luxury market, if that's what many of you are targeting, at the Canyons in Castle Pines. So I definitely encourage you to come take a look at that as well. Things are a little different at Shay than your big Fortune 500 or publicly traded builders. We really partner with our homeowners, with our broker clientele. We love to have relationships with you guys. We will work with you, hold your hand, hold your buyer's hand from start to finish. We want to be in a partnership. So hopefully we can grow each other's business. Like I said, 6 weeks left. What you're seeing right now, the only material I brought for you guys is stuff that closes this year. So to help you get to your big goals, which are huge and fantastic, I almost got to bring some construction guys along with me today, but they weren't able to make it. They got tied up in a meeting. But we are attention to detail from the very start all the way through the end. We invite our buyers out for welcome meetings. So if they do actually build from the ground up, they get to meet the superintendent that's building their home, and we'll take them through the whole process, what that looks like. Where I'm at Crescendo, our average build time is about 7 to 9 months, but I have a ton of stuff right now that's ready now. January, February, March, and we're doing new lot releases every single month. We're down to just 40 homes left to sell. We expect everyone to be moved in by December of next year. So not only can you get some quicker commissions and help people that need something right away, but you can also build your business to last and get you set up for the summer of next year and so forth. So I don't have a whole lot. I'm not going to take a ton of your guys' time. I want you to eat, and if you have a few minutes to socialize, I'd love that. If you have questions or thoughts, concerns, anything with the new homes?
You have a ranch floor plan at Crescendo, or no?
So Crescendo is all 3 stories.
Okay.
But they go from 2,100 square feet to about 2,400. We start at 464 And we can do 2 and 3 car garages. So that's huge for this market. We're seeing a ton of people from the Visa buildings, the hospital, anything close proximity. We're really pushing right now, and eventually the light rail is going to come this direction to make things so convenient for our homeowners. As far as ranch plans go, everything in the canyons has an offering for at least one, and there's 2 entire collections that are strictly dedicated to ranch homes. Early next year, which I'm going to try to get back in here and talk to you guys again when it actually kicks off. It hasn't gone there yet, but we also own some land that we're developing models on right now just south of Chatfield Reservoir. So that is going to be called Solstice. We're hoping for pre-sales in January. I don't know, but I'll make sure you guys do know when it comes. Models I heard are vertical. I just ran into one of my trim guys yesterday in backcountry, and he said they're already starting to install and drop off doors and fun stuff like that. So it's moving really fast. And we have heard everybody's cries. We are building ranches. They're coming, and hopefully at a really good price point out there as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this out there just because I want people to think about it. Anything multi-generational, Lennar has some great floor plans.
Yes, absolutely. We're definitely working on that. Even where I'm at right now with these 3 stories, it is a little bit of a tighter location, but I have some right now. You'd be in a 2-car garage that have a main floor bedroom and bathroom attached. And then on the mid-level is where all your living space is, and then additional master suite and bedrooms on the top. We have been redesigning some new multi-gen suites. If you have not been out to Canyons yet, you need to see one. It's so incredible. They even have double laundries, so very similar to what you've seen at Lennar, but a whole different spin on the design and layout. Anybody else? Cool.
Thank you very much.
Like I said, I won't take much time.
Very cool. And before I forget, I do want to make sure that I introduce one of our newest family members, Madison Peeler. So Madison, if you would stand up for just a moment. Madison is from Texas. She's a top producer there, joining our family here today, and we are extremely excited. She is also part of Chris Suarez expansion team experience. So Madison, I want to make sure you meet the family, and let's make sure she's welcome and at home, and let's kick some butt. We got a few more weeks and a month here as we get ready to the end of the year. This is your time. So thank you for being here. See you next 2 weeks.
Decided that I wanted a new environment, so nothing tying me to Midland, so I packed in my bag. Oh, really? Nice. I've been 20 years. My older brother's I'm slowly trying to pull in water. I've already got Did you see all those pictures?